That's a fact. That's Lawrence.
There's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
We all cheer for big bottles of beer. I'm Ricky Grimes, and you're watching The Three Corners of Horror. I got my brother, Joe the Psychologist. What's up, my brother? Cheers for you. The sip is for you, my brother.
Cheers, bro.
Yeah,
I just
what's
took
good?
one, but
What's
I had
good?
the second one though. Oh, well, it's another one of these retro ones, and man, I seriously, by the end of this year, I don't know how I'm gonna feel because I saw this one in the movies also, and actually, I have a story about when I saw this in the movie, which is pretty fucking funny. I know they're not gonna be watching it, but I'm looking forward to talking about this one because this was one that was kind of felt a little bit in the cracks with two other ones that, as we talk, I'll mention as a reason why. So I figured let's throw it a little love. 35 years ago, so let's give it some love or see if it might be maybe some more chum.
The film that we will be discussing tonight is the 1989 film Leviathan, directed by George P. Cosmatos. The film stars Peter Weller as Stephen Beck, Ernie Hudson as Justin Jones, Daniel Stern as Buzz Sixpack, and Amanda Pays as Elizabeth Williams. Perched on the hull of a wrecked Soviet freighter, a team of deep-sea miners led by head oceanographer Steve Beck comes face to face with a mutant creature. What up, Joe the Psychologist? Now, this video here is very interesting because I didn't pick it, you didn't pick it. So this movie here, I gotta tell you, man, I've never seen this until now. This was 1989. I was 10 years old when this came out. And yes, the movies you have mentioned, the Abyss, and Deep Star 6, was it?
Deep Star 6.
Deep Star 6, and this was a film that it came out around all three films 1989,
89.
and
Yeah.
all of them were underwater sci-fi fantasy, whatever category you want to put it in. But I was too young back then, and the movies that I grew up watching, I watched them because of my brother. Starting all the way up from Dawn of the Dead until the Night Flyer. You know what I mean? I was introduced to a lot of films from him, so he wasn't into these movies. They felt more like Hollywood movies. They weren't like
Nah, like it's a creature feature.
yeah, it
I
is.
mean,
It is.
basically.
Well, I'm just saying at the time,
I know. Yeah. I mean,
watching it now, I said to myself, how the fuck did he not like this movie? And honestly, I don't even think he's seen it.
I mean,
This is probably the biggest budget, like the biggest budgeted B movie probably at the time. Because this felt like a B film, but it wasn't. It was actually a good director at the time.
yep.
You had, we just talked about Alien last week. Jerry Goldsmith, the composer, did the composition for this film as well. So, and the actors, we'll get into the actors in this film, as we go along. But it's got some heavy hitters in it, and it had some definitely B moments, but it's all for the better. In short, I enjoyed it, man. I really enjoyed it. I felt bad that I never really gave it a chance until now. And even with, I think it was JR brought it up. Let's do Leviathan. I'm like, oh god. All right, I guess I'll man up and watch it. But
You gotta stop doing that, bro.
yeah, well, you know what
Sometimes
though?
we might give you some really
Mhm.
good ones, or if we give you a bad one, at least you can crucify us for it.
But Joe, you said you saw this back in the theater. What are your thoughts on this film?
I'm gonna ask you first. Actually, I'm gonna flip that background on you because I've seen this. I mean, I saw it in the theater when it released.
Yeah.
I've seen it a bunch of times. When you said to me, "This can be my first time watching it," I'm like, "What?"
You bugged out?
I looked at my phone. I'm like, "Did he?" And then I'm like, which we have this coming up also. I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna be my first time watching Leviathan and Firestarter." I'm like, "What the fuck? Are you serious?"
Yeah.
Because you are a special effects person, so like The Thing, you like creature features, so this is what is kind of up your alley. So I
Mhm.
was kind of surprised you hadn't seen it. So
Yeah.
I want to know what you thought about it because my opinion is going to be on somebody who's seen this a bunch of times. So, what did you think about this?
Well, before I give you my thoughts, you had mentioned special effects. You know, the great Stan Winston did the creature
I
effects for this
saw
film.
that.
Again, I'm like, oh, wow, okay, cool, cool. I always imagined this film as being about a giant sea creature. It's called Leviathan. I didn't know at the time it was because of the ship, so I thought it was about a giant sea monster at the time. And I don't know why, because I just I'm not into commercial movies. And it's 89. I've always had the exception. This was a 90s film too. And I've always said it, I'm not big on 90s horror. So again, thinking it's a 90s film, I never had interest in it. And I went in blind. I never seen I seen when I was younger, I probably seen trailers on TV, but I don't remember that. So no trailers. I didn't know who was in it. Did not know the plot or what it was about. All I know, it was about, obviously, I don't know if they were like scientists or they were military. I didn't know who they were. I just knew they were stationed under the water, in the ocean. So when I saw Peter Weller show up, the first name, like, Peter fucking RoboCop? What the hell? Daniel Stern was in there. Ernie Hudson, obviously the great Winston from Ghostbusters. So yeah, this movie, even the guy who played oh man, the Spanish guy, I forgot his name.
Hector Elizondo.
Cobb. He played Cobb. Yeah, Hector
Yeah, Hector
Elizondo.
Elizondo. That's the man.
Elizondo, bro. I'm like, he's in this. Okay, perfect. That's one of those actors where if I see him, I know him, but
Yep.
his name always escapes me, and I really did enjoy it. Obviously, it's highly influenced by Alien and The Thing.
Okay.
I
And
call. I mean,
I
come
knew
on,
that.
man. Even
I know,
down.
I know. So that and I'm gonna. It's the only time I'm gonna cut you off. I promise.
Yeah,
As I'm watching it, because it had been a bit, and even Adam was like, "Well, I haven't seen this in a while," and we're both watching it, it got to the scene. He goes, "Didn't we just watch Alien?" And I went, "Uh-oh."
and that's how I noticed
So
it.
there
I
you
just
go.
watched it.
There you go. Because that's all. Because I knew when you just said that, that was when I was watching the movie that I had my uh-oh moment where Rick's gonna go. It's like Alien underwater.
Yeah, I mean,
Go
brother.
ahead.
Yeah, because of the crew, obviously, and they got this unknown force within their ship taking over. And as far as the Thing, I mean, come on, you got the infection, mutating bodies. You got the dubious doctor, and also you have the monster going into the blood supply. So I'm like, oh my god, they actually went to the blood. Could it be little less obvious? But yeah, but that's why I said this felt like a high budgeted B film, because B films tend to take from other
Reference.
films like that and kind of make them not slapstick, but they make them more comical, or they do it in a way where, yes, it's obvious we're copying them, but we're copying it so you can get a laugh out of it. Like, hey, look what they're doing. But I think it handled it pretty well here. But yeah, I mean, the similarities, they're uncanny. I mean, I hope they
Ah,
weren't trying to like pull a fast one. Oh, let's hope no one notices. And I was hoping they were doing it to pay homage to, especially The Thing. I mean,
see, and I was thinking Alien because
well,
I
Alien is
because
the foundation. Yes,
the
yes, yes.
beginning part when they find the ship, six pack falling off on the side, the worms, and all of this is happening, I was like,
Let me ask you a
oh.
question. Why the fuck was he called Six Pack? I mean, don't tell me it's because he had a six pack. I don't think
I
Daniel
think
Stern
I
had
think
a
it's
six.
just because that he drinks. I think it was the drinking part.
Well, there was another scene in here where Steven, Peter Weller's character, he mentioned something like, "I'm gonna pop all six of your tops," or I don't know. He said something like that. So I'm
Yeah,
like, "We're gonna pop his six
the,
pack?"
the
I,
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
the tops. I mean, the little, you pop off the tops of your six pack.
I don't drink cans.
No, it popping the top off is like when you take the top off with your
I know that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Six pack. Yeah, I get it.
yeah. So that, I mean, well, no. Oh, see, I thought popping the top off was when you take thing off the top of your bottle.
Now, well, could be. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, that's literally the whole entire
another thing.
time I've been thinking about it. But anyways,
Yeah, it's just the one thing
well,
I will say. I really did enjoy the film, though. To finish my point, and I want to get to your thoughts right now. But I enjoyed it. Surprisingly, I had a really good time with this movie. I did. I
that's
went in like begrudgingly, like, oh, okay, let's try and sit through this. But once I saw 89, I saw the 8. Oh, wait a minute. This is an 80s flick. Hold on. I mean, it's the
you're gonna give it that chance.
tail end of the 80s, but still, it's still the 80s film, you know? So, how about you, man? All right. I know you loved it, but tell us why you love this film.
Well, and here's the thing. I saw Deep Star 6 when it released.
I didn't even see that movie.
Deep Star 6 was released in January.
I did see The Abyss because it's James Cameron,
I
obviously.
saw The Abyss. Um, and then I saw this one. So the little quick story, I took my girlfriend to see this movie and she had wanted to go use the bathroom. So I'm sitting there and the scene where Willie is running after the mutated part is now mutating, is going through like the whatever you call it, the vessel.
Thank you for acknowledging the scene because Willie was always running in this movie, bro.
Well, and so she's running, and I'm sitting there because I'm waiting for something to happen. And as I'm watching it. My girlfriend touched my shoulder, and she goes, "What happened?" She scared me because I was so in
Oh.
that scene with her running because I was waiting for something to happen. That when she tapped me, she scared me. So I screamed. The usher then screamed. And then she screamed. That is my memory of the Leviathan movie, is that the scream that came out was just for the fact that one person, me, got scared first. Um I also I'd seen the other ones and I still went and wanted to see this one. It was different because Deep Star 6 dealt with a crustaceous, like I don't want to ruin too much because you should check that one out
Yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. I got you.
But Deep Star 6
You
dealt
already
with
said too
something.
much.
I know, and I realized after I said that part, that's why I was trying to stop.
Nah, it's all right. I'm not gonna hold you to
But
that.
well, no, but here's the thing that you'll now know that it's going to be different
Yeah.
because you saw the Abyss, and that's the problem is that the Abyss came out, Deep Star 6 came out, and then you had Leviathan, and it was like people were like, seen it, done it, but this one was different because it dealt with what I guess was a Russian genetic experiment that they were doing. Because I still, even now watching it, like, so was it in that flask? You know,
Yeah, so the Russians were conducting experiments on their crew members unbeknownst to them, and the way they
all
would
right,
infect them was putting it into the alcohol.
all right. So that now I got that part because I didn't pick up on that part because even after all this time, I'm like, so was the worm in there? Like that's literally even up to the now. I paid attention to that scene to see if maybe they might flash like some microorganism. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's interesting because the Russians scuttled their ship, right?
Yeah,
So it took care of whatever mutations were left, but I guess the whatever they put into the alcohol to infect
was
them was
in that
still
safe.
in. Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, the same thing. I mean, when I saw it 35 years ago when it was released, I actually loved the movie. Peter Weller, Amanda Pays, Ernie Hudson. I'm a huge like I love him in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Like that was one of my favorite roles of him. Richard
Good shout.
Crenna, Richard Crenna's in here. There's a whole lot.
Dog.
I mean, Daniel Stern, Home Alone, playing a fucking. He's like a horned up guy, like
Let
which
me
is kind of
ask you, bro. Like
it was
when
weird to
he
see him as a horned up
when
guy.
Daniel Stern's character Six Pack was the first guy to get infected, first one to die within hours of infection, right? Everyone was so distraught, but this guy was a complete asshole. Like he
Asshole. Well,
treated everyone like shit. I'm like, bro, why would people? I wouldn't want this guy. I mean, of course, I wouldn't want him to die, but the way they were acting, like, but
see, the thing
that
that you're
shows. I'm
class.
sorry. Before you get to that, but I was gonna finish. I took it as okay. the movie's only an hour and 38 minutes, right? We only saw him for a little bit less than half of that, right? We saw his bad side, but of course, he probably had a side that we just didn't get to see. And plus, they've been stuck down there for 3 months, I think it was. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they grew attachments, I mean, especially the him and the blonde chick seem to have a
Yeah.
bit of a connection.
Bo.
Bowman, right?
Bowman. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice boobs on her too. I agree with six pack. I was like, oh, bro, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
And who doesn't love vodka either? I mean, come on.
Stan Winston, like we mentioned before, created this monster. A lot of phallic in this film. I'm not. Oh, you thought about that? But I gotta say that one scene where they closed the door when the fucking body started moving and that one tentacle got ripped and they just left it there. I don't. How the one thing I will get into, this crew is incompetent. You saw their leader, again, Peter Weller's character, his name, Steven, right? Steven.
Yeah.
He even said it. I'm just I'm a geologist that just got put here because I know fucking rocks or whatever.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to command this ship.
Which
So
was kind of a throwback to a Dallas.
Yeah,
line.
we talked about Dallas.
Literally, when he did that line, that's why, like,
yeah,
it is the other unfortunate part is that if people watch the movie, because of the references that are just, I mean, they're right there.
Yeah.
If you wear glasses, you can watch the movie without your glasses and still see the references. I mean, that's how clear they are. When he did that line, I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah. I didn't think about that until you brought it up. So
yep. But anyway, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
I'm sorry.
No, but what I mean is, like, they wanted you to know. That's why the scene with the Jesus's character when his suit malfunctioned. That's why that part may seem like filler, that it's not needed, because the suit malfunction never played a part in later into the film. But that was put there to show you that Stephen Beck has no idea what the fuck he's doing when it comes to situations like that. He relied on Doc, and Doc was out. I don't know where the fuck he was
golfing
on a ship somewhere.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how he golfed.
And so, yeah, I like that. I like the fact they made his character very fallible. I like that. He wasn't perfect. He was just there because he knew his shit, but he didn't know how to command the ship. He did not know how to lead people. He didn't know how to talk to people most of the time. You could tell when he stood up to Doc at that one point. You could tell he was nervous as hell. I'm like that. I'm very antisocial. I am an introvert, and I don't like being put in those positions. And I felt that his character was the same, so I connected with that on that level, and that was awesome. But going back to my original point, though,
the arm, that little piece being cut off.
Yeah, they cut. I don't understand how the crew, none of them decided to check the ship.
Yeah.
Anyway, that thing was the cause of all the other problems that happened within the
right.
film. But yeah, so the monster kept mutating, obviously, and it took form. It would infect you and assimilate you like the thing. But yeah, I mean, from the very first appearance of the monster, his first evolution form, all the way up until the final form, which we saw at the end of the film. What were your thoughts on the creature? Because, like you mentioned, this is a creature feature.
It is. The part that you were talking about when it cut off the arm. As we finish the movie, Adam literally goes, "It's their fault. They didn't check for any extra pieces to throw it out there."
Adam's the man.
Because they didn't check, they got it, and I'm sitting there going, oh, "Shit, he's fucking right."
He's right.
But what I liked was that at least the doctor wasn't working against them. He was trying to figure out in this one. So they didn't go the route of the doctor, working with the company basically on that. Yes, we wanted you to do this, but there's a whole other reason we went down here.
They were the Tri-Oceanic, right? The name of the company?
Yeah, it was just a mining company. The doctor actually was trying to help them out and figure this out. And not just that, the doctor looked scared because he didn't know what the fuck they were dealing with.
Yeah.
So when it said the whole mutation part, and then when Six Pack and Bowman's like their bodies became one. I thought that was, yes, I did think of the thing. So there was another, like, as far as like the mutation, the way that they look, the fact that it retained their intelligence, therefore it being able to use the fact that it knows how the ship works,
Yes, I like
things
that.
that yes, it was a mutation that basically, once it absorbed all the other stuff, it knew how to basically survive and survive being smart. It wasn't like going around like, I'm gonna destroy this shit. It was pretty cool. I loved the look of it. Yes, a couple of times, I'm not gonna lie. I got two little flashbacks. I, I definitely got a basket case little flashback on one of the face parts. And then I also thought about, and I
But
couldn't
that's
remember which.
one reference I would never think I would hear during this fucking
Well, and
this review.
it was
Basket case.
when
I
they
know
showed
I know
the,
what you mean.
if you look at the way that the face looked when they were merged, and I thought of basket
Who
case, and
was
then
it? Someone said, wait, I just saw six pack. Oh no, the doc. The doc wasn't
yeah,
a
the
doc.
doctor in the
I just
shadow.
saw the doc.
It was it was the face was out on the part of the body, and it just showed up through the shadow. And then it made me think of, and I don't know which one of them, but a Nightmare on Elm Street, when Freddy, like the all the people that he
I
killed,
know
the
what you mean. Yep.
faces,
Mm-hmm.
it made me think of that. You know, quickly went out of it, but I thought the monster was I thought it was cool that this thing can mutate itself. And not just that, but it mutates, and it's smart because whatever it absorbs, it then uses their knowledge to be able to do things. So, I mean, granted, yes, there would be such a heavy CGI, but if they were to remake this, even name it something differently, like having a monster with that capability of just it keeps absorbing the people in situations where you're on a boat, we can go back to space again for it to do it. I thought that the monster, the creature feature, the thought concept of it was great.
When those bodies were all fucked up, the first thing I said to myself was, "Well, you're on a ship. Just dump that shit overboard. What the fuck are you
Yeah,
doing?"
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, like in that part, Cobbs and the Jesus kind of little failed us, but in all the other parts, they were pretty smart.
Yeah. Now, speaking of smart, we have a character here that was probably the real villain of this movie, the Tri-Oceanic Boss. Now, Joe, are you familiar with Meg Foster?
Oh fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah?
I'm not even. Oh my god, are you not?
No, I'm not. Come on,
You are
motherfucker.
not,
Those
dude.
fucking beautiful eyes.
Thank you. I
What are you
mean,
talking
come
about,
on now.
motherfucker? They
Listen.
live. Bro,
Well, not it's
even as a decrepit old lady playing a witch in fucking Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem, those eyes
eyes.
still pierce at you, bro.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, Miss
It's
Martin,
not
man.
just that.
Talk
She's
about
got
her.
she's got a really sexy voice.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love her voice.
I
I
want to
love
hear it,
her
bro. I want to
eyes.
hear it.
I mean, so when I went to see the movie, I had heard that Meg Foster was going to be in it.
I didn't look it up before or after they live. Yeah, 89. Yes,
Yeah,
after.
this was after they lived.
Yeah.
This was after they lived. Hold on, pause.
Yeah, I love that fucking sound.
Everyone had that crush on her. I mean,
God.
there's not many those eyes, as you said, those eyes.
Joe, how can we forget Evil Lynn? Oh my
Evil Lynn, that's what I'm saying, dude. I mean, and she was a great Evil Lynn. I
Yeah,
loved
she
her.
was the
She was
best part of
probably
that
the
film.
only, yeah, the
Other than
only great.
Skeletor, I love Skeletor in that film.
Frank Langella was good. Um, Evil Lynn
Evil
still
Lynn,
stood
though.
out.
Yeah, the eyes.
And so I will say, man, I wish we would have gotten more of her.
Yeah, you're right. I
I wish
hated
we
the
would have gotten
fact
more.
when I watched this film and the credit. I mentioned the credits. I saw Meg Foster's name in the credits. I'm like, oh fuck yeah! But then when I noticed she was relegated to just a TV character, I'm like, oh man. But we'll
Her
get to this later.
scenes.
But we'll get to it. But her final scene.
Oh yeah, because here's the thing. I've seen it a bunch of times. I want to hear your reaction to that
Oh
part.
yeah, go again. We'll wait.
But
We'll wait.
seeing her as, and this is another one where it was kind of, in your face, the company. with aliens. You have
Mhm.
so but this time we had instead of mother, this was mother. Um, I I just loved how icy she was. Um, and the thing is, as the viewer watching the movie, you knew when she was telling them, like, "Oh, it's another these hours." That I know she's like, I love that clicking. She's like, "I'm done with you, clicker."
That big ass 80s remote stuff.
Oh my god, it's so huge. And that's funny because I'm like, it's going, damn, technology was that good back in the day that we could have like done like satellite or whatever it was
You
all
gotta
the way down
understand,
to the
this
fathoms.
film wasn't based in '89. This was a futuristic film. I think it was
Okay,
it
all
was
right,
in the future. I don't remember which one. It was in the 2000s, I think it was, if
all
I'm not
right.
mistaken. I could be
Which
wrong, but
which
it
we're-
was.
which we're at, which we're at now, but
Yes, exactly, exactly. Even now, yeah, we don't.
but no, her character, her lying, and you clearly saw that she was lying to them. I just wish we would have gotten just a little bit more of her. They weren't a research company, which is why the doctor wasn't in on a plan to find, what's in the Leviathan. This was just they found this boat, fucking six pack. If he had not fallen off the side, gone in the boat and taken that fucking safe,
That was annoying. Like,
they
come
would have
on.
finished they would have finished their tour. They all would have been alive and collected all that money that they were worried about because if they didn't make their time, it was going to be half a pay.
I think she deserved a better career, in my opinion, overall. She was kind of typecasted, unfortunately,
I
but
That's literally my that word was in my head just now is the
yeah.
typecast part with her.
Yeah, but very, 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 very memorable actress because every one of her roles you remember. So when they drop off our two survivors to safety, where the company is conducting their business, who's the first person to meet them? It's Miss Martin. She comes in, hey, Beck, I'm glad you're alive. How are you? Bam! Right in the fucking face. And he says, couldn't have been better. Or I'm
I
paraphrasing, but do you know what he said?
I can't remember, but I
Something
love
like
that.
that.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm not again. I'm not. I mentioned it when I do my
Yes,
movies
but
that fuck
bro,
me up. I'm not a fan for that.
if
But
it's life
that
and death,
moment,
if it's life and death, bro, she deserved it.
that moment called for
She
it.
lied. She
That
said
was
there
a
was a hurricane. She gave him false
dude.
hope, which is
Oh my
it's
god!
worse than anything.
When
Giving
Joan
him
comes
false
up, he
hope.
goes, "Where's the hurricane?" I'm like,
But he kept checking for the weather, and they never said
"Weather."
hurricane.
And I remembered when I was because
Yes,
when I rewatched it that they mentioned the hurricane. He did mention it, but it was far away from them.
he did. Yeah,
And that it turned and she's like saying it turned around. So again, the company just was waiting for whatever was going on down there to be done with it, them reporting it,
yeah,
everybody's dead. I have a question for you though. After Jones, which I was kind of pissed that Jones did not get to survive this.
yeah. They didn't really show what happened to him. I don't know.
He was fighting the monster,
He
so
held him in place.
yeah, I'm just gonna go with the monster clawed him, basically.
Brother, speaking of that, bro, oh my god. That final moment when Beck, that jump shot, bro. Say,
Jaws.
he threw that jump shot like a basketball. He threw the fucking, it was a grenade or a fucking, it was a thermal detonator or something right into the monster's mouth. He goes, and then the monster, when he goes, say, the monster goes,
And then, I know.
that was cheesy as fuck.
So, but this is a little plot hole because this is why I said to you I'm gonna ask you a question.
Oh my god, I was
So
dying. I was dying.
the monster
That punch though at the end. I don't know.
it,
Okay.
no, but because that ending was so bad in the sense that they experienced this. So the whole monster came from that one chunk. So if he just blew it up, doesn't that mean that a whole bunch of like hundreds, thousands of pieces are now going to mutate?
You're missing something, I think. So the monster did implode with the ship. The monster that attacked them at the very finale was the one that they dumped overboard.
Right. It
So
still
that's the one that
mutates
came.
though.
And it's funny because that was such a Jaws moment when you see the they're underwater and you see the
Literally,
camera.
yes.
Okay, here comes the monster,
Yep.
and then they try to fake you out with sharks.
I thought of
I didn't buy
Jaws
it.
in that scene. I thought of Jaws, but I thought when he blew it up, I'm like, well, you just fucking saw what happened with an arm being cut off. So now you're gonna blow this thing up into a whole
Oh,
bunch of
good
fucking
shout. You
pieces,
know what, motherfucker? That's a plot
dude.
hole. You're right.
Literally, when he did that, you did not save us.
It keeps multiplying.
You just
The
created
pieces stay
thousands.
alive.
Yes,
You're right.
yes. You didn't think of that when you saw that
No,
scene.
no, you're right. You blew my mind just now. You blew my mind. That's
It,
right.
it. I don't think you
Unless they
thought about
wanted
that.
a sequel and they wanted a reason for a sequel, and it did
Maybe.
poorly, so they just we
If
don't back.
not, whoever these writers were didn't think of the fact that throughout the whole movie, it's implied
It
that the
regenerates.
pieces
Yeah.
can regenerate.
It
So
regenerates.
now you just fucking blew it up and created a whole bunch.
Closing thoughts, my brother. I'm gonna throw it to you first. Rate the film and any other final thoughts you got to get off your chest.
Well, actually, I'm gonna throw it to you first, motherfucker,
Oh, let's do
because
it.
it's your first time watching it. Again, I told you
Yeah.
before, why should we waste it on somebody who's watched it a whole bunch of times? We're getting a first initial reaction. So, your thoughts on the
Okay,
film
so out
and your
of a
rate?
score of 5, I highly enjoyed this film. This is a film that if I'm scrolling through sci-fi or if I'm scrolling through TV and I land on sci-fi and it's on, I'll probably keep it on because it's such a fun film. The characters are memorable. Again, a lot of them ain't likable, but it's you need that. You need the contrast, within the good characters and the weaker characters. Well, I don't want to say weaker, but the non-favorable characters.
Yeah,
Um, I love the character of Willie. Oh, so hot. Jesus Christ,
Amanda
bro.
Pays,
Man.
that accent.
Mm.
I'm all about an
And like I
accent.
said, she was constantly running and sweaty. One thing I wanted to bring up though, in the very beginning, when you first see Pila Weather's character, you would appreciate this. There's like a news report or some shit, and you hear the newscaster saying like, "It's Puerto Rico," and Peter Willard characters mentions like a bunch of Latinos doing so. I don't know what the hell. I'm like, "Hey, they went to Puerto Rico."
Yeah. Well, and I'm assuming De Jesus is Puerto Rican.
Yeah, of course she's the one that suit had a malfunction, but whatever.
Of course. I mean, of course it's gonna happen to us.
How'd I be the Puerto Rican?
Well, if it's gonna happen to us, anybody, it's gonna happen to the Puerto Rican, and then we figure it out unless we panic.
And I love the reveal when Jones, his character, goes into the infirmary when he brings in Bowman, and he goes to check on Sixpack, and he sees him. He sees him moving, right? No, he thinks he's sleeping, but then when we know he's dead, he don't. But the body starts moving. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm like, oh shit, that got me. That was a great reveal that the body was still like alive technically, because we were not expecting that. We knew he was dead, but when that body moved, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, that was great.
But
What a great reveal.
when you watch it again, you're gonna realize they've already talked about it, the mutation. So the mutation has been going on. So when he showed up, so I'm saying when you watch it again and you realize that the mutation has been happening with Sixpack the whole entire time. It's well, not the entire time, but after he drinks that little vodka, yeah. But I'm saying so that's it goes to show you it's your initial reaction watching it again, and you know that he gets infected, that his body had been changing the whole time.
For me, out of a score of 5, 3.5.
I'm a 3.5 also. So when he was getting infected and the thing was jumping out of his chest, I'm like, oh God, guys. I mean, you've been copying so much. This is a little.
One thing was
your
cool.
One scene.
The hand with the mouth ripping open.
Yes. That was pretty awesome.
Is that how we got Doc? Because I was going to ask you, how did Doc get infected? Because they didn't show it. Last time we saw Doc, he was holding him back.
Once the hand. So
because he was holding him back. They didn't show
he must have eventually touched them and infected him.
I guarantee you, it was probably a makeup effect that didn't go well, and he just cut it.
Well,
because all of a sudden he's holding him back, right? If you notice, Who
And
was with him?
then-
Was it Willie, right?
Yeah.
Willie runs when he's still holding him back. Willie runs off to Steven, and Willie goes, "Oh, they got Doc, they got Doc." How does she know? He was still fighting back when she ran off. So I'm thinking there was an effect that went wrong, and they just decided to just eliminate it altogether, which is probably for the best. It's not, it doesn't hurt the film, but it's an observation. That's all.
Right.
One last question for you though: who's your favorite character in this film?
Cobbs.
Really?
I'm gonna because Cobbs knew everything, and again,
Yeah, but
when
he was
you're
also
involved-
come on. He made some dumbass moves.
he
too.
made some dumbass moves. But when he made the choice of getting a fucking weapon to defend myself, that shows you
That's it.
somebody who's smart and thinking in that moment.
I love Doc. Doc was my favorite because they made Doc to be like the most suspicious guy at the start. He wasn't around. He's lazy, this and
Well-
that. But he was the only one that was like,
Actually,
Something's
trying to help
wrong.
him,
something's wrong,
was-
and no
that's
one
a-
believed him because of his past.
and
If Beck would have believed him from the beginning, he would have been more proactive as far as the choices he would make going into the climax of the film.
Yeah.
But no, he didn't believe him. He thought, nah, because of what Miss Martin said about him. Nah, he was the only one. And again, copying the thing, when he saw going into his little computer, talk about the analysis and what's going on. I thought of the thing, and the fact that when he saw Cobb, oh yeah, he's infected. We're all fucked. He released all the escape pods, and
yes,
yeah, like come on, guys. But
they didn't make.
he was the smartest guy to me.
I'm gonna second your choice.
Yeah.
Because
I love that character so much. I love him.
his character went against what you would have thought
Thank you.
his
That's it.
character in a horror movie
Yeah,
would
they
have
made
been.
him think. They made you think he was gonna be like some like conniving,
Yeah.
sleazy,
Shy
No, he
Steve
wasn't. He was
involved in it.
a
No,
human being that
he-
made mistakes. He had bad experiments, but I don't know. Come on.
truthfully, what it was that he went, oh shit, this shit just got real. If you haven't watched the movie, Rick just kind of raved about it. So go ahead and give this movie a try.
Great popcorn film, a good film to have some beer to, have a shot, smoke a bowl, brother. Thank you. I'm glad because if it wasn't for this, I would have probably never seen this fucking movie.
Well, aren't you glad you have two other brothers that are going to introduce you to
Yes,
some
you
other
and JR.
movies?
Thank you both,
Yes.
man. Yeah.
So there
So-
you go.
That's it. You're good.
I'm good, bro.
Right. Please join us next week. We have our live stream coming up this upcoming Thursday. We will be celebrating something very special. We'll keep that to the chest until then. We will be discussing a lot of horror news and horror releases that will be coming up soon. Join us live. Hit the chat. Give us your opinions. Join us. Let's talk. Talk to Ricky Grimes. Talk to Joe the Psychologist. And talk to JR. With that being said, I already said it. I'm RG, Joe the Psychologist. And with that being said, stay scared, motherfuckers. Stay out the fucking water, man.